You've heard Billie Eilish's song about it, but what actually is the Roman Empire? Rome, a small village on the banks of the Tiber River in Italy, grew into the greatest empire the world had ever seen. For over 1,000 years, Rome ruled much of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. They shaped law, language, architecture, and even the way we think today. But like all great empires, Rome rose and Rome fell. The rise of Rome began around 753 BC, according to legend, when it was founded by twin brothers Romulus and Remus. The boys were raised by a she-wolf, and after killing their uncle, Amulius, Romulus founded the city of Rome and became its first king. Over the next few hundred years, Rome went from a kingdom to a republic, a system where citizens could vote and leaders were held accountable. This was pretty revolutionary for the time period. The Romans were master builders and fighters, and over the next few centuries, their legions conquered Italy, then spread across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. They built roads, aqueducts, and cities to connect the far reaches of their empire. And as they spread the Roman culture, they also spread Latin, their language, which eventually evolved into French, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese. By the time of Julius Caesar, Rome had grown from a republic into an empire. A republic where the Senate and assemblies made laws. Now there was just an emperor. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, Rome erupted into civil war. Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, emerged victorious. He took the title Augustus and became Rome's first emperor in 27 BC. The Pax Romana, or Roman peace, began, a time when the empire flourished. Trade grew, cities thrived, and the arts and literature flourished. The roads were so good that a person could travel the entire empire from one end to the other without going over bad roads. Rome reached its greatest extent under the rule of Trajan in 117 AD. But even as Rome flourished, cracks began to show. As emperors gained more power, corruption grew. The Senate became more of a rubber stamp than a governing body. Each emperor held absolute power and was responsible to no one. 80 of the 300-ish emperors that ruled Rome were assassinated or died violently. Augustus's adopted grandson Caligula was known for his debauchery. Nero infamously hosted extravagant feasts while the common people starved. The empire spent enormous wealth on wars and luxury, leaving Rome vulnerable. Outside, barbarian tribes pressed at the borders. Inside, the gap between rich and poor grew wider and wider. The challenges by the 3rd century, Rome was in crisis. The emperor was a puppet. Power was in the hands of a group of corrupt nobles. The economy was in sharp decline. Rival emperors drew the empire into civil war. Rome was being pushed around by outside forces, but a new generation of emperors brought new life to the empire. Diocletian divided the empire into East and West. Constantine moved the capital to the east and made Christianity the empire's official religion. His mother, Helena, was a Christian, and he converted after having a vision before defeating Maxentus at the Milvian Bridge. He built a church on the site of St. Peter's tomb, and 4 years later, he convened the First Council of Nicaea. The purpose of this meeting was to settle disputes in the Christian church and define orthodox beliefs. The Nicene Creed, a statement of Christian beliefs, was the result of this council. The empire was saved, but it was changed forever. Rome was now a Christian empire, and that meant war. For the next 2 centuries, the Roman army fought against pagans, Jews, and other Christians to expand the reach of the new state religion. Meanwhile, other groups fought back against the growing power of the church. Even as the empire grew more Christian, it didn't become more peaceful. The fall in the 4th and 5th centuries, Rome was divided into East and West. The Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantium, would last another 1,000 years. But the Western Empire was collapsing. By the middle of the 5th century, invaders were knocking at Rome's gates. In 476 AD, the last emperor, Romulus, Augustulus, was overthrown by a Germanic leader named Odoacer. Rome, the eternal city, had fallen, but even in its decline, Rome left a legacy. Its laws influenced modern justice systems. Its architecture inspired modern cities. Its aqueducts roads, and sewers helped the Renaissance flourish in Europe. Its art and literature changed the world, and its stories and legends still live on in books, films, and even politics. Some even say America today is the new Rome, a superpower with global influence, facing many of the same challenges. That's why it's important to learn about the Roman Empire. Its story is a warning and an inspiration. No empire is invincible, but ideas can outlast nations. What do you think? Could today's superpowers avoid Rome's fate? Let us know in the comments below. In our next episode, we'll travel back to the American Civil War, the conflict that nearly split the United States forever. So subscribe so you won't miss it. And thanks for watching.